Welcome to my command center here, aka my office, aka also our spare bedroom for when Grandma and Grandpa come and stay over. But this is where I plan all of our motorcycle trips, all of my trips. So I've had a bunch of questions from folks on how do I plan my trips. So figured that I would just give you a little bit of a rundown of how I do it. I also have like a bunch of knickknacks here from other trips and memories. A friend of mine painted this skull helmet. Actually, I painted that one. That's the artwork from my grandpa's. He was a B-17 bomber pilot. I painted that helmet. Um, this is Eggman. My daughter, I bring this on every trip because then I send a picture back of my daughter where we're at. So yeah, and then I can see pictures behind me on the wall. Those are a bunch of trips that I've gone on. Usually it's kind of a after every big trip, I will, pick a photo and make a canvas out of it to put on the wall, which is kind of a fun tradition. So a bunch of cool trips up on there. It's just something, kind of fun to have on the walls to remind me of all the fun things that we do on motorcycles. So a couple with my dad, with my wife, with my friends. So it's all up there on the ride wall, which is cool. I'll start simple with some of it is just a general idea of where to go. And I get a lot of inspiration from Instagram. I have a bunch of things saved like in a travel folder. If I see like a cool road or someplace that I want to go, I save it there to come back to. So I'll come back and look at those. Plus, the friends that I travel with, we all travel a fair amount for work. So we get an idea of where we want to go. And once we decide, we kind of start diving in. A lot of it is obviously done on the internet, but I will say that I have done, like right here, this is a paper map, old school paper map that I got last time we went to the Smoky Mountains. And it shows you all of the different rides in the Smoky Mountains, which is a crazy amount. So we are probably going to go back to the Smokies in a couple of years. We were going to go this year, but obviously the flooding has really, really damaged that area. We have done this area before, kind of Maggie Valley, everything east or west of Asheville, and we were going to go east of Asheville this time. But obviously that area got hit pretty hard, so it's going to take them a couple of years to come back. So we'll go back in a few years. But I will return to this map because more than Google, more than any other, I'll show you a couple of other websites that I use. This is super helpful because the concentration of roads is so intense there. That's why I've hung on to this. I've kept this map for like 5 years now. So I do a little bit of that. But like I said, most of it is done online. So I'll walk you through a couple of the different tools that I use for that. All right, this may seem pretty basic, but obviously one that I use very heavily is Google Maps. It's one of the best out there. Google Maps does a lot of really good things. For instance, so next year we're probably going to go to southern Colorado. And I know a lot of these roads already, but even the ones that I don't, like for instance, where we're going to go probably into northern New Mexico here. And the nice thing that you can do is you can kind of take a look and see what's going on. And then I use Street View a lot. So that gives me a good view of like, oh, okay, what's here? Oh, yep, that's pavement, which is good. I've gotten that wrong a few times where I spot checked a mountain pass, and the 2 spots I checked were paved. The other 20 miles were gravel. Whoops, my bad. So I do use Street View quite a bit, and that kind of helps. Like if we zoom in here, oh, Brazos Summit. So now I can go over there, look and see, oh, what does that look like? Oh, good thing we're not going to be riding here in the winter. This would be the downside is the Street View. You're limited to Street View by, what the conditions were when they took it. So sometimes it might be winter, sometimes it might be summer. But you generally can get an idea of what the roads look like. Like if we go, let's see, maybe when we want to go here on 17. Oh, 17 has got a switchback. What does that look like? Also in the winter. Mostly paved, but good to know that that's not a motorcycle road for spring or late fall. So I use that quite often. That's kind of generally where I start to get an idea. The biggest probably hang up, and maybe somebody in the comments can tell me that I'm just an idiot and this is how you turn it off. If I could turn off current road conditions, I would use Google Maps almost exclusively. But that's the big problem, like going through Colorado. So if you look here, like, zooming in Colorado, if I want to plan a trip somewhere, let's pick a spot here. Like, I know that, here, Mount Blue Sky. So you zoom all the way in here, and I'm trying to plan a trip. Part of my trip is going from Idaho Springs, to, I want to go to the top of Mount Blue Sky. Well, it's going to stop there because it's going to show me, here, traffic. Oh, it's closed. So I can't plan that whole part of that trip because it's showing me, it won't let me go on the roads that are closed, which is annoying because a lot of the cool places, like in the mountains in Colorado, a lot of the roads get closed in the winter. So what I do in that case, I actually I'll start in Google Maps. I'll get a pretty good idea of where we want to go. And then I'll actually go use the Harley Ride Planner because that one is more of like a traditional GPS. It's not hindered by weather. So I'll actually kind of finalize the routes in Ride Planner. And the nice part about that is I can export to the Harley app and then download it to the bike directly. So a lot of times I will run Google Maps or Waze, and then also use the Harley GPS as like the guiding light. That's the route I absolutely want to do. And then if we need to make some changes, I can use Google Maps and Waze. But I can show you here, like in the past, we got here we go, Banff, day 3 from last year. This is the road, and I actually planned out here, and you can do a little preview. So, these are the stops. On this day, I used Google Maps, and I know that this is a spot that I wanted to stop at, so I planned that one, have that planned stop. So that's how I planned the trip out, and then I could, like I said, I could download that to the app directly to the bike, and then I have my baseline. So I've used Ride Planner the last couple of years quite a bit to plan out trips. It's the Banff trip here. West Glacier was one that we were looking at. And then if I'm going to an area and even in areas that I have been to, one other piece that I use to actually get some ideas, like, oh, what could be a cool road in this area that I don't know about? So like, for instance, let's put in for next year, we're looking at New Mexico, and this is motorcycleroads.com. This is an overlay on Google Maps. They use Google Maps, but people have indicated what roads they want to do in those areas. So I selected New Mexico, and now we're loading the Google Maps here. I will say that motorcycleroads.com is a little bit slow. You got to be patient. It's got a lot of information. So then you can kind of move the map around. And we're only going to go to the northern side of New Mexico. So I'm going to adjust the map here, let it load, let it update. The nice part about this is that each of the roads get a rating. People can vote on them. And then also provide comments of like, oh, here's the amenities. So like, let's pick one for example. So this road right here, I'll select, so Taos to Mora. So it's 56 miles long, really good scenery, really good ride enjoyment, probably due to the curves and the views, but no very little tourism opportunities. So, and this person, has written in here, rivers, mountains, fields, just a beautiful ride. So it kind of just gives you an idea. So it's just a nice, I found a few roads in here that I wasn't aware of. So it's a nice kind of little bonus tool. Like once I get the general route, like I said, I'll throw it in Ride Planner, and then once I have the framework, I'll actually spend quite a bit of time off and on just exploring around the area and trying to figure out, what are the good places. Like, this one here. So this one finally popped up. This is the Enchanted Circle. Scenery, ride enjoyment, some tourism. It just gives you, like I said, it gives you kind of a nice idea. We were looking here earlier. Actually, they don't even have, that's interesting. Let's let this thing load a little bit. Like I said, you have to be patient with it. It does take a little bit of time, but somebody has not rated this Bravo Summit that we were looking at earlier. And that I've done that road, and that road is really fun. So maybe I should enter this one in there for somebody else to in the future to find. But yeah, so that's that. Those are the 3 big tools that I use. Honestly, the other thing that I've started to do a little bit, as much as it kind of pains me, is I will throw in some, like, what's a 5-day motorcycle itinerary in Southern Colorado into ChatGPT. It actually really worked. And at least, again, it like gives me some, hey, maybe I missed this. Maybe I didn't think of that. It's like a super fast way to really kind of see, like, okay, what are some things that maybe, like, what are the best things to see on Highway 50 in Colorado or whatever. It's a really useful tool for that because it's basically a Google search, but it brings it right to you based on your specific. You don't have to, like, scroll through 100 different 100 different like links to find the right one. It just kind of like aggregates it. I mean, that's what ChatGPT is a digital aggregator, and it does it really well. So I've started using that a little bit too. So yeah, those are the tools that I use when I'm planning a trip. I also like to throw things out there ahead of my trip. And actually, this happened really for our trip in Banff this year. I had thrown out a couple posts on Instagram saying, hey, we're going to Canada. Can't wait. And I had a local guy hit me up, and he was like, he's like, are you doing this road to this road? And I was like, and I looked at our map. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is the road that we're thinking of doing. And he's like, no, you got to do this other one. So using his guidance, I dug in. And I found no, actually he was right. So about 2 weeks before our trip started, we changed our 5th day of the trip completely. Changed our hotel, changed our routes, and it was awesome. He was exactly right. So finding some local knowledge. You'll go out into like some Facebook groups. Throw a few questions out there. A lot of people I found have been super helpful. So thanks to that dude. He made the 4th day of that trip, where we took a couple ferry rides, was so much better than what it would have been. And it would have been a fun day because it's Canada and it's beautiful, but that just added to it. So there you go. If you have any other questions, happy to answer. Throw them down in the comments. But that's how I plan my trips. So hopefully that helps you. And like I've said before, it just doesn't matter if it's 2 hours from your house or 2 states. Go do a ride, get out and ride this year, and make the most of it. You only get to go around this rock floating through space once, so make the most of it while you can. So until the next one, we'll see you later.